Loop thread needle lifting. Tape wire around the little finger, bypass the index finger, then to the middle finger. Then pinch this intersection. Pull the wire from the coil handle. Then set up a stand-up needle. Set up 2 braid needles first, then hook 20 long stitches in this circle. 1, 20 long needles, then tighten the coil. In the first rootstock soundboard, set up a standing needle first in the circle, then each needle magically hooks a short needle. There are 20 short stitches in total. Then elongate the broken thread. Then use the same method to hook another slice. After the second piece is crocheted corresponding to the first piece faces the front outward. Then this is the front side to be merged together like this. Hook 12 short needles. Set up a stand-up needle. Then come through like this. Hook 12 short needles. "12 short needles are finished. The 2 pieces are then crocheted separately. Let's first hook a long stitch inside the end of this last short stitch. Set up 2 braid needles. Hook a long needle. Then next in the remaining 8 needles. Hook a long needle in each needle mesh. Finally, hook another long needle in the needle hole at the position of the first short needle we hook. Then the other piece of paper is hooked with 10 long stitches in sequence. After the crochet is finished here, we printed the handle at the first long needle. Then column 3. Cheely needle. Then hook a long needle and add a needle in each needle mesh. That is, 20 long needles plus needles. Keep hooking like this until the end. Hook here. After the tick is finished, we pull at the first long needle. Then lock a stitch. Then change the line. Then without. This white thread doesn't need to be broken. Let's lock 2 more stitches. The white thread is tightened to let. We hook 2 long, unfinished needles in the first needle. The first 2 braid needles count as 1 needle. Then directly wound the wire with 3 coils. Lock another stitch. Then we'll empty 1 more needle. Hook 3 unfinished long stitches in the second needle. Then take it in one go. Lock it again. Keep looping like this. Hook 1 every other stitch. Tick A. Hook 1 every other stitch. Then we pull hard at the first long needle. Lock a stitch, then change the white line. Lock 2 stitches. Tighten this blue thread. Then hook 2 long, unfinished stitches in the first needle. Then take it directly through. At the gap between the 2 corn needles. That is, the needle is inserted at the lock needle. This needle powder. Hook 2 corn needles. Lock a stitch. Then tick another tick. Or in a needle add a needle. Brought 4 rootstocks earlier. Then a like this. So that 3 or 3 are a group. There are 10 groups to be checked in total. In the middle of the next 2 corn needles is a corn needle. Such a corn needle, 2 1 2. 1 2. It keeps looping like this. Tick to the end. Then pull at the first long needle. Then lock a stitch. Then draw the blue line. Lock 2 stitches. Then at the gap of each corn needle. Hook a corn needle in each of the gaps in the middle of the 2. Two unfinished long needles, then straight through 3 coils. This is the first sew needle. Then hook the next corn needle at the gap between the next two corn needles. Also 3 unfinished long needles. Take 4 coils and lock one needle at one time. Keep hooking like this. Tick all the way to the end. This circle is finished. We're still here at the first corn needle. Extraction of first needle. Extraction, then a neat needle. Change the white thread later. Or in every corn needle. Hook a corn needle at the lock needle in the previous circle. Change the white thread to lock the two needles. Then tick the first one first. 2 unfinished long needles. Pass the corresponding coil at one time. This is the first yummy needle, then hook the second one at the gap between the second 2 yummy needles. Just keep looping and hooking like this. There are 30 corn needles in total. It's the same as the circle. Good. Crochet next. To this location. Then we pull at the first needle eye. Then we draw the blue line. Needle reduction for hooking corn needle. Set up 2 locking pins first. Still at the first needle. Hook 2 unfinished long needles. Then take these 3 coils directly to make a stitch. In the second needle mesh. 3 outstanding lock frames. While long frame is not complete. In the third frame, 3 unfinished long frames are also checked. So there are a total of 7 loops on the thread crochet hook. The wire is carried directly through these 7 coils. Make a needle. Such a stick 1 by 1. A corn needle. Then this is the minus of the corn needle. The cycle goes on like this. Next, hook another corn needle. Then hook another reduction needle. 1 meter needle reduction. Next, hook 3 more needles to complete the long needle. So that 7 coils are carried at one time. Keep hooking like this until the end. Next, let's set up another air gasket. Change the white thread in the next turn. Let's hook 10 groups. This 1 meter needle reduction needle. Tension. Collar 2 gas ropes first. 2 braid needles. Then 2 unfinished long needles. Another needle. 3 unfinished long needles. Then pass through these coils at the same time. Make a needle. The next thing is like this. All of them. The reduction of this corn needle. There are 10 groups in total. Everyone has taken all the coils. Lock another stitch. Crochet like this until the end. Hook this lap. We can stuff this bubble into it. Then from the back of it. This is the front. Then take it out of this middle blue spot in the second row of his back and take it out of this blue spot for him. Then we need to pump him up. Adjust it. It will be fine to bulge up like this. Next, let's hook the last round. That's the last lap. It's 5 groups of this, Needle reduction of corn needle. I just finished it. Then the next frame items are also 3. The unfinished long march. Take all of them at once in this way. Coil lock 1 stitch. In this way, there are 5 ticks in total. Hook 5 groups in total. We can break the thread after this loop is finished. Then close it with that outer half needle of the suture needle hook. Pick only the half needle on the side of this needle mesh for the suture needle. Then we hide the thread to it. Just wear a few stitches. Then disconnect him. Next, let's crochet the location of the organ. Well, from this is left behind. In this position, where his neck and head meet. Insert a needle in this place. Lock a stitch first. Then hook a short needle in the same needle hole. Then hook a medium-long needle in this needle mesh. Then hook a draw on the next rootstock. Set up 2 locking pins. Hook 3 long needles in the next needle. Extract at the next needle eye. Then arrange 2 more lock pins. Hook 3 long needles in the next needle. Then pull out the next rootstock. Line 2 more lock pins. Hook 3 long needles in the next needle. Pull out the next rootstock. Lock 2 more stitches. Hook 2 long needles in the next needle. Then in the same frame. Then disconnect. Hide the thread. We'll hook the mechanism. Next, let's hook the J part. We enter the frame in the next frame. Then lock a frame. Tick a short frame in the same frame. Hook 2 more unfinished, medium-long needles. Then pass through the coil in one go. Hook another short needle. Then still twist in this rootstock. Then disconnect. Then hide the thread with a stitching needle. That's fine. The mouth is hooked. Next we crochet his hot drape. Pick up the needle annularly first. Hook 2 locking pins. 1, 2. Then hook 2 long needles. Then lock 2 more pins. Pull in the circle. Then crochet another set repeatedly. Create 2 lock pins in the same way. Then 2 long needles. Lock 2 more stitches. Pull in the circle. Elongated break wire. Pull the circle tightly. Long term. Adjust it later. Just fix it here with a suture needle. To hook the tail, circular needle lifting. Then hook 2 locking pins first, 1 or 2. Then hook 18 long stitches in the circle. After the 18 long needles are hooked, our coil doesn't have to be too tight. Then pull it out at the first long needle. Then set up the stand-up needle. Because we're gonna get this through here later. So we need to leave him enough space. That's it. Don't pull him too hard. Then, let's lock 4 pins first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then a long needle in the first needle. Then a locking pin. A long needle. 1 left needle. A long needle. This keeps looping. Left needle, right long needle. Loop until the end. We only need to hook 15 groups of this. Count 15 from the first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's the end of it. 15 sets. After checking, let's lock a stitch. Then flip the weave sheet. Then change the white line. Lock 2 stitches. Then hook a long needle in the first hole. Then lock 3 pins. 3. And then on top of this post of the long needle. So hook a short needle on the post. Then hook a long needle in the next hole. It also locks 3 pins. Hook a short needle on the upright post. Just like this, the pattern keeps hooking 15 groups. Long needle, then 3 locking needles, hook short needles on the upright column. There are 15 sets of tricks in total, all the way to here. Finally, we hook 2 short needles in this position. A short needle is hooked into each needle mesh of this needle. This position is also to hook 2 short pins. Hook this circle. Finally, give him a short needle. Hook 2 in the hole. Then the following one is a short needle, corresponding to each needle end. Then 2 short needles are also hooked here. Pull at the first frame. Good break. Thread is fine. We hit the rest of the thread with a stitching needle. He can disconnect this way. When this is positive, we use. Give him this glue. Glue here. Then just glue it up for him like this. Then stick the eyes on, too. Good. So that the chicken is ready after soaking.